Good evening, SRA Nation. Welcome to Division 2. We are in week 4 already of Season 3, racing at Silverstone. I am very pleased to say that we are able to bring this content to you guys after Kuno's servers prevented us from doing so last week. So excited to see everyone back on the stage again. And I am your host, Douglas Mitchell, and I am joined by my Triple D cohorts, Dominic Duran and Daehee Yoon. Thanks, guys.
Happy to be here, ready to see another British classic.
Yeah, happy to be here as well.
I think that we're the dream team in terms of commentating crew. Triple Ds, I mean, it's just meant to be. And I'm rhyming now. That's not intentional. My goodness, we're off to a really hot start. So we are looking at Division 2 this week, and Division 3 is over on Twitch, so be sure to check them out too. Super excited content. Duran, can you give us a little rundown of our British gem that is Silverstone?
Absolutely. So we're at Silverstone this week. It's not like a lot of the other British GT tracks we all know and questionably love. It's not twisty and turny. It's a high-speed circuit, high downforce. It's been in use since 1950 when it hosted the first round of the F1 Championship, and it's been the British Grand Prix since 1987. I'm sure if you've driven here and sat in the pit lanes long enough, you've heard the whole spiel about how it was developed from a World War II fighter runway where the bombers would take off, and then they put a perimeter road in around, and that ended up being the Silverstone that we know and love today. It's about 3.7 kilometers long, and you're on the throttle for about 70% of it. So it's definitely a high-speed circuit, and it's prone to a lot of high-speed accidents too. So I'd tune in, keep watching closely. You might see some pretty big bangs tonight.
Daehee, you were quite quick around this track. Do you have any special secrets about how to maintain some good speed around here? What's the trade secret?
Well, of course, there's a lot of fast-flowing turns, and maintaining high momentum is key to maintaining a decent pace around here. That being said, I had a horrible qualifying, 1.2 seconds slower than my PB, so I don't really want to talk about it.
Soft subject, huh?
I still had a great race, the race night, though. It's pretty wide and allows for pretty interesting racing. If you make a mistake, or if a person ahead of you makes a mistake, you can try to set up an overtake, and it's a pretty interesting track to try to get your mind set up for it.
Yeah, these wider tracks lend itself to great racing. Double, sometimes triple wide. It gets pretty hectic at times, but yeah, excited to see what's going on out here. But to your point, qualifying is paramount. There are a lot of really aggressive corners right off turn 1 that you go into. Some of the chicanes here of turns 2, 3, and 4. And Maggots and Beckett's, they will eat you alive if you're 2 or 3 wide. So drivers have to be very cognizant of how they're going to position their cars this evening. Speaking of our drivers, let's look at our drivers' standings. Right now, the leader of Division 2 is Dylan Ambrose with 313 points. In a close second is Josh Damiani with 297. And then it tapers off a little bit from there. And after that, P3 through P10, super close. One race can separate some of these points differentials. Brian Anderson, P3. Austin Gardner, P4. Eric Boardman, P5. And just goes down the list. A lot of formidable drivers in this list, and it's pretty much anyone's game halfway through the season.
Yeah, and I just want to also point out that we've solidified our classifications for the series, and most of the top drivers are in the gold split, but there are a couple of silver split drivers that I want to point out. So Toma Constantine and Kevin Kovac and Roger Rodriguez are the top 3 drivers in the silver split.
And they're showing some of the gold drivers a lesson, huh? Good job from these guys. Yeah, Dahi is crunching the numbers back at the office, and he's pretty proud of where he's come with the SRA rating system. And that being said, we're going to find ourselves dictating the splits really well now. And we promise we're sticking with the nomenclature now. It's going to be division splits and then gold and silver amongst each division. We're not going to try and mix it up like before with pro, pro-am, rookie, what have you. So we're sticking to our guns, at least for one season. We like to keep things fresh around here.
Yeah.
So these are our drivers. Teams of 2 are made up here. So Team Atreides, featuring Dylan Ambrose, who is in P1, so obviously the point total is going to reflect that. They are doing very well. They have a pretty commanding lead. Then we have Slippin in P2 and Red Bull Racing Speed Hunters in P3. What you're going to see here is the Audis at the top, very fast. But I love the variety in the different car manufacturers across the grid. A lot of mid-engine cars, but the makes and models are all different, which I love to see. So that just lends itself to great racing. Cars exploiting each other's weaknesses and strengths to benefit different parts of the track. Always is great to see these different cars go to battle. But with that being said, I mean, if you win a race, you get 100, 110 points. You can close these gaps pretty quick. So again, halfway through the season, these teams are still neck and neck as far as I'm concerned. Speaking of these teams and drivers, they are qualifying right now. And we just finished the first batch of drivers. Duran, can you express how we do our different splits? And explain how each is done?
We have, since we have 2 splits per division, we have a 30-minute qualifying and split it into 15 minutes and 15 minutes. So the division's silver group will take the track first. The track isn't always rubbered in, but today it looks like the track was already set to optimum, so we should be seeing the D2 silver drivers shouldn't see a huge disadvantage from taking the track first. But as soon as they are done with their 15 minutes, and they can start a new lap until that 15 minutes ends. But after that ends, they exit the track and make room for the gold split, who will then take their 15 minutes and try to top the guys who came before them.
So Dahi, who are our top silver split drivers in qualifying right now?
So right now it looks like Team Molyneux has the fastest time of 1:58.6, which is a very formidable time. And behind them is D Watts, and P3 is C Holmes, both with a sub 2-minute time, which is very respectable. And yeah, I just want to point out that a lot of these names are actually new to Division 2 this week. Both Taylor Molyneux and Mr. Kish were promoted from D3 last week, and they're definitely showcasing that they deserve to be here. And I think D Watts and Fire Queso are also new this week.
A lot of new names. We love to see that at SRA. We're growing rapidly. Tell your friends. We're always looking to welcome new people. And I'm looking at the chat already. I'm seeing a lot of love for B. Kish. That's a pretty safe bet as far as I'm concerned. He has shown some wicked pace. I would not be surprised to see his name in the top 3 in terms of qualifying, if not on pole. That being said, Dom, I'm going to try and find a driver who's going to be starting their lap here relatively soon. You mind giving us a walkthrough of a lap? Looking like
Let's go for it.
Looking like 8:10 is about to start. Let's see if I can start that up here. Foguth, a crowd favorite.
On our way down to Cops. Light braking, drop it to 4th. Take as much curb as you can. Use all the exit, although this is the easiest place to get a track cut. And then power our way down to Maggots and Beckett's. Great pair of corners. Through the S's. Entry is huge on this corner right here. And we're going to go around Chapel, down the Hangar straight, feels like an eternity, but this is where you get a slipstream and you can get somebody going into stow. You want to look for the braking marker on the left. Probably starts with the curb. Brake hard. Use as much. Oh, he ran a little wide, but he fixed it mid-corner. Use all the track as you power your way down to the Vale chicane. Drop it down to first. Try not to hit that curb or you're going to send yourself flying. Around club, a lot of oversteer here with the off camber. And power your way down to Abbey. Now this is the Formula 1 start right here, but for GT3 it is closer to the end of the lap. So around Abbey, it's just a lift. Huge speed through this turn. You can gain a lot of time there. And from Abbey, we're going into the arena section, which in my opinion is the hardest part on this track. Super tight corners. Not very fun in cars that aren't good in slow corners, but alas, looks like Foguth is on his way well. And he's going to go down this back straight. Not sure if it has a name. Don't really remember, but I guess it doesn't matter. We're on our way to Brooklands. It's going to be a hard braking zone. Super hard on your right front tire. Trail braking all the way around. Gets good rotation. And then into left field. A lot of different lines in this corner, so you might see some overtaking here today. And then power down back to the start-finish line. And that will complete your lap. Let's see what Foguth puts on the board.
Yeah, he improved by over a second there.
And
So
with
that was a good
commentators, instead of opposite of commentators' curse, he had the commentators' blessing that puts him on P2.
That was phenomenal. I mean, considering Molyneux had a 1 second gap to P2 before, it looks like Foguth has cut it to about 0.6.
Really great performance from him. Another driver with a huge improvement right now, about looking to cross the line, is Damiani with 0.9 of improvement. That's going to put him very close to pole. In fact, on pole.
Josh Damiani.
With the drift for sex appeal at the end. You love to see it.
God, he's just flashy.
Do you blame him? The man sticks it on pole, and the first thing you want to do is celebrate.
There's another driver with a huge delta on board, and that's B. Kish, currently in P11.
Checking him here on the Ghost Hunter Audi. This is the crowd favorite tonight. He's rounding the final corner here. Gets good rotation, uses the whole track. Cut the corner here, keep it nice and tight. That's exactly what he does, maximizes time. P4.
P4. I believe Mr. Kish was pretty unlucky last race. He had a disconnect after qualifying P1, so hopefully no issues tonight.
Speaking of disconnects, I see Rimzik in the chat who said that his internet cut out. Rimzik is one of the very few drivers in SRA that has attended every single SRA race that he's been able to participate in. So I want to see his internet come back so he can keep that perfect attendance record going. You hate to miss the opportunity to participate when he's ready to go. He's always a driver up in the top 10 for certain.
I bet you he hasn't missed a day since kindergarten.
He's that
probably
guy.
One of those guys. Yep.
Yeah, where the teachers give him like a special prize at the end of the year, knowing full well that, mommy and daddy just basically forced him to get on the bus that day.
And mommy and daddy trying to convince him it was all worth it.
Amen.
But he knows, and we know it wasn't.
Hey,
but in this case, it is.
At least he got to be there for the full experience. He's getting his money's worth, whether that's private or public school. You never know.
If it's public school, it's free.
Oh, your taxpayer dollars, they're getting put to work.
Yeah.
We'll going back to the qualifying a little bit.
Yeah, back. Who should we be checking out, Day?
Let's check out Colin Shea, also currently in P11, and he has a 4/10 delta, and that's actually going to put him quite a bit up in the standings.
Be careful how close you look at this car. It's so shiny, you might blind yourself.
Wow, it's a super tight bunch he's trying to get in front of. There's about 5 drivers all within a tenth of each other.
Yeah, very tight. And tonight we have a grid of 40 cars, and this is halfway into the season. Looks like the league Division 2 is remaining very healthy.
You love to see that.
It. Yeah.
Attendance across the board. It's a little understeer at the end of the arena section.
Yeah, his delta is sort of going up and down, but maintaining a solid 310 plus.
At this rate, he'll still looks like he'll put himself maybe P6.
Yeah, just a tenth will shoot him up in P6. Just how tight that is.
Michael Jeffries just flamed me in the chat. He said McLarens are prone to engine failure around this track.
That's tough, buddy.
That's just rude. For those lacking context, as Colin Shea puts it, gets himself up to P6, which is great from him.
P6.
Very nice. Last race in Division 1, through Maggots and Beckett's, my car just turned off, and then I got absolutely punted off track. No fault of the driver behind. I was just putzing her along as I was trying to figure out what the hell happened to me. And yes, Michael Jeffries, it is too soon. Much too soon. I'll never recover from that. I spent so much time practicing just for that. But too funny. Too funny.
We have Dylan Ambrose putting up a pretty solid delta, 6/10 from P37.
P37 is definitely not a place where Dylan Ambrose is accustomed to being. He is very good at keeping pole times. He's obviously first in the driver rating, so you'd expect to see him much further up the ranking here.
I suspect a lack of practice. He might have been grinding the American Track Pack.
Yeah, this week has been pretty busy for SRA, and many events going on means you have to split those times up.
Well, regardless, here he is. He's here now. He's up 7/10 on his time. Coming around Woodcott. And where is he going to improve to?
31st.
Takes him to 31. I know he's going to be looking for more than that.
Yeah, he has time to put in maybe 2 laps as long as he's fueled. So,
is he in a different like a wrong engine map or something? I mean, this is much beneath what his pace usually indicates.
His lines look decent. It looks like he has some idea. Oh, there's a lot of slip there.
Yeah, he lost a couple tenths by doing that. Pretty aggressive thrusting the car into the corner there, but we'll check on him again. Hopefully he can find himself almost 2 seconds. That's a big difference to make up, but if anyone can, it's him. Another driver that we like to check in on is Jaworski with the Flying Ace Cadets. Up 3/10 right now. He's currently in P25. 3/10 will put him up a pretty sizable margin up the grid.
Yeah, very tight grid so far.
He's in the driver favorite Audi. Audi is not it's decent here, but it's definitely, I wouldn't say it's the best.
Yeah, surprisingly wasn't the fastest from what I could tell. BMW actually was very... Oh no, look away, look away.
Jaworski with the style points at the end with its power drift. But yeah, we'll let him kind of lick his wounds there as we check in with office manager Michael Scott here.
Did he change his livery again?
He did. He went from the white and black car to now this lumberjack inspired piece here. Looking good.
Well, the paper's got to come from somewhere. And I guess it starts with the lumberjacks chopping the trees, man.
The circle of life.
2 and 2 together.
Yeah, man. That's the full production line on display. From source to manager selling the product. You love to see it.
Is he the lone Ferrari on track?
Not to my knowledge. There's a Damian Martinez.
There's Martinez.
Yep. Back down the grid in P39. He is done qualifying, so he's going to be starting at the back. Jacob Wolfman in the chat saying, Daddy Curtis Lee is a total stud muffin for the BBC team. Curtis Lee with a respectable P21 right now with a 2-minute lap time. Very, very good time.
Isn't Jacob also qualifying at the moment?
Jacob should be driving in D3, yeah. So sharing the love across the stream. Maybe he's sitting out while the other D3 drivers are committing to their qualifying. Aiden Grover also, and Josh Damiani, all in the chat. These drivers are all driving and looking at the stream simultaneously. Aiden Grover saying RIP because he's in P38. Aiden, that's just going to mean that you're going to be racing through the grid. That's exciting content for us. You love to see it.
Overtakes galore.
Oh, without a doubt. There's only a few more drivers on track with positive deltas, one of them being Super Dave, and then another, as he crosses the line, small improvement. But a big improvement here potentially for Carlos Guzman in the Crazy Rabbits Audi here. Currently a 1.5 seconds off pole, and he's 0.5 up an improvement with half of his lap to go. So let's see what he can muster
And
here.
climbing. 0.7 now.
Yeah, he did a good. Oh, phenomenal arena section. Okay. Well, maybe not. It looks like he's dropping time a little bit. I wonder if he got a little slippy out of there.
He compromised some time, but on the initial entry, but he's carrying more speed, so he got a later apex. Nice and tidy through here.
See what line he takes through Luffield. Also tight.
Avoids the double apex, which some drivers elect to use, but that's a great improvement. Still 6.5 tenths up, 0.65,
Put
excuse
him
me.
up in P10 or
P9?
P7.
Wow.
Way up.
Really nice. That was his final lap of the session too, so he put it up when he needed to.
Made it count.
Without a doubt.
We want to go back to. Oh, there we go. Michael Scott.
Michael Scott was the last person to participate, and he was able to get up to P11 before all was said and done. All right.
That concludes.
How are we lining up here? Looks like we've got Damiani P1, Molyneux P2, Foguth 3rd, followed by Gardner and Kish in 4th and 5th, then Anderson and Guzman in 6th and 7th, Astolfo in 8th, and then Shea and Hartman, teammates, I believe, rounding out the top 10.
Aiden Grover in the chat saying, "Good luck, everybody else." That's one of my favorite memes from Family Guy. As he's just going to be screaming through the field, hopefully. Let's just familiarize ourselves back with the driver standings here. So right now we're looking at Josh Damiani on pole. Big congrats to him. That was an absolutely stellar lap. Damiani is finding himself in P2, so it's going to be really great if he's able to get away clean for a good point situation for him. His competitor, Dylan Ambrose, you have to scroll quite a bit down the pecking order to find him, unfortunately. He's in P18. He's got some work to do to catch up to Josh to close this points gap, because that's only a 16-point gap difference. That's going to be swallowed up pretty quick with how many positions different they are right now. Brian Anderson, where did he end up? Looking like P6. Austin Gardner in P4 at the moment, so he lines up with his corresponding ranking here. And Eric Boardman, where did Eric Boardman? In P15. So the grid's pretty spread out. It's going to be conditions for what would otherwise be a pretty exciting race. And Dehi, can you remind us who the silver split drivers are and who to keep a peek on?
Let's see. The newest silver split driver that's on P2 is Taylor Molyneux. Let's see if I can. Yeah, and you can tell which driver is in the silver split by their the color of their number plate. So you can see that D. Watts and C. Holmes and Mr. Rohr are the highest placed silver split drivers in the qualifying. One interesting fact that I found is that Josh Damiani's fastest time on the leaderboard is actually 4/10 slower than the lap he did here during the qualifying. So this man puts it together when it counts.
Needless to say, that's an absolutely epic performance. All right, our drivers have made their way back to the grid. Duran, can you explain to our lovely audience what the format of our race is today?
Our race is a 1-hour sprint race with a mandatory pit stop plopped right in the middle. The pit window is going to open at the 35-minute mark, and it's going to stay open for another 10 minutes until the 25-minute mark. Now, every driver has to come in, and we call it a splash and dash. So you're just going to take 1 liter of fuel. Tires optional. Probably not recommended. So I apologize to any drivers listening to this stream right now because I'm a little too late. Actually, I'm not too late. Go to your HUD. And if you don't want to take tires, remember to switch that off, because I was subject to that last week and it was painful. But anyways, taking tires is optional. Taking 1 liter of fuel is mandatory. 10-minute pit window in the middle of the race.
It has to be said, though, there were a couple of drivers, I think Sutherland's, that took tires in last week's D1 Silverstone race, and that actually benefited them. I think they gained about 8 or so positions compared to where they qualified. So if you're in the mid pack or behind, it might actually work out for you, because you never know what's going to happen when you're that deep into the grid.
Do we have is that a stop driver?
Oh no.
Did this man run out of gas on the formation lap?
Is that even possible?
It can't be. It can't be. I think they were just slowing down for some other reason, whether that's to change the settings or what have you. But yeah, no one, from what I see, has started from the pits, which is a blessing. Out of 40 drivers, there's always one, but not today, which is great.
Huge achievement.
Yeah, I also see Kish in the formation lap, so no issues this week. So that's good to see.
What about Rimzik? That was the next question.
We want to know. The people want to know.
Oh, I don't see his name. Yo.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it.
Well, he gets a drop race.
For sure. In the chat, there's some shout outs for Dylan Ambrose, and also another shout out for B Kish.
Is Kish sponsored by somebody that I'm unaware of? He's getting a lot of love. He's like the Lewis Hamilton of SRA for Division 2. You know, the expected winner. Everyone's giving him that extra love.
And just like Hamilton, it's 2022, and he is not in front.
Oh, no.
There's some salt in the wound for you. Dom putting out the name on blast. Let's see if he can go and surge from P5 in this Ghost Rider Audi and represent his team well.
A lot of background. From what I'm aware, the teammates Kish and Molyneux came from F1 2021. And they are not too experienced with this 1 hour long races. So let's see if we can put a race together tonight. They definitely have the pace.
All right, guys, the grid is starting to go from their single file to their double stacking formation here. So you're going to see some cars jockeying for position. As we're going to round the final corner, I'm going to hang out at the front of the grid, Dahi, if you want to hang out in the middle of the pack, and we'll share the responsibilities here.
Sounds good. D1 race, the first couple corners are very clean. I hope we see the same tonight.
I think we will. I think we should be okay. Maybe a little paint exchange in Maggots and Beckett's, but I think we'll be all right.
A lot of cars.
If you go off track, you can come back via the service road. It is not the end of your race.
Woodcott. Looking at cops. Who's going to get the ideal line? We got some movement already. Oh, get a little swerving from McLaren. And we're off. Or not.
No, we are green right about now. Green, green, green. We are going. Kish already making a move up the inside of turn 1. He manages to get 2 positions right off the bat. A little forcefully, but he manages it. As the McLaren is going to fight back. That's Foguth on the outside. They go side by side.
Oh, one car goes off track. I think that's Dylan Ambrose, actually. You hate to see it.
Go ahead and give us a replay of Dylan's start here as we cover the grab. Their cars further back, going side by side through the chicane there. Looking mostly clean. Really great start from the grid here.
Yeah, in the picture-in-picture, Dylan, I think, had a great start. Or it could be his teammate, but a teammate-on-teammate action. He gets tapped in the rear and just loses the car. You hate to see it. No damage, I think. No big damage from what I can see, though.
That's a cardinal sin in racing. You never take your teammate out. We have a lot of cars kind of fighting for position here, trying to get what would otherwise be very close racing here, jockeying for position. The grid is super tight. Back at the top here, Molyneux still in first place. Damiani in second. And then Foguth is right here starting to train behind with Guzman, Gardner, and then Kish a little bit further behind. Back to the middle. There's another off track, though. Who is that, Dehi?
It's Mr. Rodriguez, R. Rodriguez. You see a little touch in the picture-in-picture there.
Oh, and that was a hard impact, too. Both of those drivers are going to be suffering with damage. That's really unfortunate. Yeah, Rodriguez elects to just go straight back to the pits to get that done. That's really unfortunate.
Yeah, you hate to see it.
The middle of this grid is so close to each other, as we're about to see side-by-side action through turn one. We're on board with Watts.
Oh, a lot of understeer through Cobbs. Gets squirmy, goes into the wall. No! Oh, brutal damage.
Oh my goodness. We're just on board. The commentator's curse was ripe. Now he has to be careful getting back on. He's going to see the entire grid drive by. His hood is messed up too. You hate to see that.
Yeah, I have the replay going in the picture-in-picture right now.
Gonna have a look down into Chapel. Oh, I'm stuck.
Oh, he just lost the car himself.
Yeah, he just has a little bit of oversteer through what would otherwise be the marbled section there. Just lost of traction. Duran was hinting at Anderson, taking a look at Kish. He's the Lambo on screen here.
The grid is super tight all the way back to P37.
Anderson has a good run on Kish. Down into Abbey, he's gonna have a lot. There's gonna be. He lets off. He wants to avoid contact early. That's good. That's smart. That's mature racing right there.
He has to be careful. Astolfo is right behind, hungry to take the position from him. If he's braking a little early like that, he could either risk getting punted from behind with the unexpected braking point, or get past the old-fashioned way.
It's Eric Boardman lose a couple of positions. Let's see what happened. The picture-in-picture. Oh, snap oversteer. No impact though. Just a couple of positions lost.
That's like 4 wide in the picture-in-picture right there, Daggy.
Yeah,
my
Eric Boardman
goodness.
is joining into a lot of traffic.
Oh my goodness. The gold McLaren gets spun as they're nearly 4 wide.
How many cars are here? I'm catching the replay for Matthew Golden.
That's the trademark of an evolving league.
He tried to squeeze in when there's no space. He did have a good run, but got to weigh the risk versus reward there.
People in that situation would claim that Artie and Senna said that if there's a gap and you don't go for it, you're no longer racing. But that was pretty narrow. That being said, lick your wounds, get back to the battle, my friend. We're on board with Foguth in P3. There's a little bit of a gap forming in front to Damiani and Damiani to Molyneux. Now we're looking at over the wing of Foguth for P3, Carlos Guzman in P4, and Austin Gardner in P5, right on the heels, looking to capitalize on what looks like a differentiating pace here from qualifying to race pace.
Oh, 3 wide in the picture-in-picture. And they keep it clean. A little paint straighted.
The stadium section is going to warrant some heavy braking zones.
Yeah, definitely. You got to protect the inside line here. Anybody can dive.
Carlos is going to make a move. He's so close.
Got a good exit.
Elwed has an issue here. Let's see what just happened. Oh, got tapped in the rear. Losing a couple of positions. And Martinez also having a moment.
Foguth doing a great job of covering off the inside.
Eric Boardman, I think, gets collected. Nope.
Oh, that was very close for Boardman.
He does get tapped right here. Oh, you hate to see it. He is not having a good race tonight.
The drivers, it's been... Yeah, Guzman pushing Foguth as hard as he can without collecting him. The drivers have had a week off. They've had a lot of time to practice. Maybe all this pent-up practice and aggression has making it, the extra practice has given up some extra confidence, and maybe that's turning itself into some on-track incidents. Anderson has a moment. Going back here.
Oh, you hate to see it.
It just
Oh.
grabs a little too
Boardman.
much grass. Keeps it out of the wall though.
Yes, he does. That's the worst thing you can do when you're crashing like that, is to collect the wall.
So much action going on. It's really hard to keep tabs on everybody.
You're not wrong. The grid is super condensed, which we love to see. Yeah, definitely some issues at the back of the grid. Cars with damage, collecting other cars with damage. But their race is pretty much over at this point. They need to kind of just mitigate as much damage as possible, get back to the pits. The pit window is far off, so you're going to be losing quite a bit of time. That being said, go ahead.
I apologize, but did we miss the pass from Molyneux on Damiani for P1?
It must have happened very early.
It happened really early on, it basically into the first couple turns. Damiani conceded the position and is now losing pace to Molyneux, to the effect of basically like a second a lap almost.
Yeah, Rally and Foster in picture battling it out. Lots of cars. Looks like Tyrell had to go wide and lost a couple of positions there.
We're on board with Guzman still hunting down Foguth for P3. Foguth gets in the dirt a little bit. Carlos backs out. But he's going to be under attack from Gardner behind, who's only 7/10 back. And then Kish behind Gardner, another 7/10 back.
Of course, Silverstone is very harsh on the tires, right? You have to keep in mind you have to keep the race going for a full hour.
Speaking of tires, Foguth does get a little loose, and Carlos is going to have a really good run at him. Does the old switchback? There is room.
Foguth putting his car in the right place. I'm surprised Guzman didn't have the speed for that.
Guzman did choose the outside line. He could have taken the inside line if he wanted to.
Phenomenal stuff from Foguth, though, keeping his head on. Keeping it on the swivel, making sure he's covering his lines.
Putting
Got a
on
little train behind him.
Yeah, defensive clinic at the moment.
Action, he's got to watch for a dive on his inside. Pepe the Frog on Carlos Guzman's wing.
You love to see it. We love deliveries here at SRA. A lot of people are super creative.
Oh no. The picture-in-picture. Curtis gets spun around. Let's try to catch that again.
Huge closing speed from Gardner.
Oh, he just taps the rear. He
Bad
manages
luck
to
for
keep
Curtis.
the car clean though. Oh, and he's trying to fight back with some dirty tires.
While we're watching Curtis get punted around a little bit, Carlos got a little loose and Gardner got even closer.
That frees up Foguth a little bit in the front.
A little bit of breathing room.
Pressure from behind.
There's another gaggle of cars from Colin Shea back. Well, actually from Paul A. Hartman back. The train being conducted by Paul A. in the 444 McLaren.
It's not much of a train either, because he's only a second and a half behind Astolfo. Oh, almost 3 wide going on the straight here. With Tony Spaghetti, Normando, and Sadat.
Foguth has a moment. Carlos is going to have a look at the inside. Oh, that was close.
Narrowly avoids him. Oh, that gives Gardner a good run on Guzman.
I think
better of it. Oh, Guzman gets slidey.
I think Tony opted to.
Oh boy.
Oh, Punterino.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Impregnation. Is he going to give the spot back? Maybe in a better place he will. Oh, but that's Astolfo quickly behind. Overtakes his teammate Gardner. Unleashes him on Guzman. He says, "Go get him for me."
And Kyle turn to get spun around. In the picture. Oh, he just dives a little too deep. Doesn't quite make the corner. Didn't lose too many positions though.
What we witnessed
Colin
before.
Shea and Hartman side by side. He actually passes Paulet and pulls away enough to tuck in ahead.
What we saw before was Carlos Guzman getting loose on a part of the track that has much less grip than the Apex, and then he just comes back from off track and just collects the cars in front.
Big news from P3. I think Fogus lost his car. We'll see it just now into Maggots to Beckett's. Oh, loses the rear and impact. You hate to see it.
Oh, that was a hard
all the way
hit.
down to P14.
Oh, Stolfo's getting close. He's looking for vengeance for his teammate.
Yes, he is. As Paulet Hartman's going for some moves too. He just got
Down the hanger
past.
straight. The gaggle of cars in the picture-in-picture. Very close to each other.
Allen in P8 here is a new driver to the league, repping the 666.
Questionable number, but we'll roll with it.
Sometimes you need to really, ask for all the help you can get. And if you sell your soul to win a race, you still want to race.
Jaworski just made a pass on to Eduardo Rodriguez, and Fogus followed him through.
Hartman's got homes all over the back of him. I don't know how.
Lots of action in the mid-pack here.
Kind of checking out the whole area around Allen. Holmes and Hartman battling pretty hard. And you have Michael Scott right up the rear end of Hartman. Great car control. Yeah, great car control. Now through the dirty air, through Maggots and Beckett's. Some scary stuff. We've already seen it collect a couple drivers.
Oh, Scott compromised his exit and spins for it.
Keeps it together though.
Doesn't get collected by the cars behind, but he is going to lose out on 3 positions.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's such a high-speed part of the track.
From the pack a little bit there.
Further back, we have Rohrer and Gould battling. These are the 2 drivers that just got past Michael Scott as he had his butt-clenching moment.
Michael Scott looking punchy. He wants his spots back. Oh, but he's getting squirmy through there.
His tires must be overheated from that big slide.
Right. He's got to take it easy and bring the temps down a little bit.
Well, Stolfo just had a yellow flag. Let's go see what happened there.
Michael Scott's got the pass done on Rohrer.
Yeah, as he goes wide to avoid Gould. Gould gets the job done. Michael Scott just says, "I'll follow you right through, buddy."
Oh, he's
in
got
the picture-in-picture. Looks like Stolfo lost his car getting through the Maggots of Beckett. Lost a couple of positions there.
Astolfo just taking hit after hit tonight. Not literally, but sometimes literally.
correct me if I'm wrong. We have Fazli Majid in the chats asking where Sawyer is. Isn't he in D3?
Austin Sawyer is in D3.
Yeah, you're in the wrong race, buddy. Go check out our Twitch stream.
Yeah, you wouldn't know it looking at his pace, but he is in fact in D3.
It's an understandable mistake to make.
Yeah, he must have paid Dahi quite a bit of money to keep him relegated to D3 so he can win some races.
Quite a lot of scandals in this league to keep you entertained.
Back on board here, Colin Shea putting the pressure on Gardner, and right behind you have Allen and Holmes. Shea has to be careful here. He needs to be aggressive to keep the pressure on, but you can't get too aggressive to where he gets gobbled up by the cars behind also.
The grid has spread out a little bit since the start, but still quite tight. Just to give a little attention to the front of the pack, Mr. Molyneux has a comfortable 5.5 second lead on P2, Josh Damiani, who has a 7-second lead on Mr. Kish. So the podium drivers are a pretty cushy spot.
We have about 7 minutes till our pit window opens. So it looks like Molyneux's built a significant gap in case anything goes awry in the pits. But then again, we've seen some pretty bad pits in our time here. Not in D2 specifically, but just in general. So anything can happen still.
Oh, definitely. And especially for drivers who are new to ACC, that's more of a concern.
It definitely shows in the race who practiced their pits and who didn't.
It doesn't seem very glamorous, but you can make up a lot of time by perfecting your pit execution.
100%. Shea's got Hatchie all over the back of him. Backs off a little bit.
A lot of drivers, when they sign up for our league, say, there's only one viable pit strategy. It's to splash and dash, forget the tires. And I say, yeah, but who's going to execute that pit stop strategy is why we have it included into our bylaws. It's a huge element of the race that a lot of people overlook. And you can make up many seconds on your team, on your competitors, if you practice your pit stop when they don't. Really close driving here.
You can see Hatchie psyching Shea out a little bit. He's swerving a little bit behind him, but he's not actually committing to a move. He's just having some looks. See if he gets a good exit out of Abbey. It looks like Holmes behind Hatchie is actually gonna happen, and he goes for the dive on the inside. Does he stick it? Hatchie gives him room. He's got to make it around the outside now. No, Hatchie takes it back.
And now he's exposed to Hartman behind. Great racing from these two. Very respectful. As you see in the picture-in-picture, the headlights are on. We're starting to go from dusk with the beautiful sunset to the beginnings of night. Duran, explain what nighttime brings for our drivers.
Nighttime brings colder temperatures. The engine runs a little bit more efficiently, so you will find a bit more power, but the tires will cool down a little bit, and when they cool down, they don't stretch as much, and when they don't stretch as much, you lose some grip. So naturally, unless you drive the hell out of your tires, you're going to lose a little bit of grip when the temperature drops. But
not only that, but you can even see where you're going sometimes. This track doesn't have a huge amount of floodlights on the track. It gets pretty dark, and catching a brake marker out of place could really lend itself to a driver being out of sorts to return.
Absolutely. We definitely see it on the British tracks. You can lose your place. It's only an hour, but if you lose focus for a minute and it's dark outside, you might not be able to find where you are. We already got the headlights coming on.
It looks like Rohrer lost many positions. Do you know what happened to him?
I just missed it, and I couldn't catch what happened. Colin also had a yellow flag. Let's see what happened here in the picture-in-picture. Oh, he just lost the car a little bit, mowing the grass a tiny bit.
Yeah, he's still right in the mix, right in the thick of it. Paul right behind. Paul trying to avoid Colin a little bit, goes off. Oh, loses a couple. Subchition says, I'll take that. Thank you very much. As Paul dives deep, he needs to get back on track. Settle down, settle down.
There's only one position. It could have been worse through that turn.
Without a doubt. Back up the grid to P3, we have Kish, but off of Kish is Carlos Guzman keeping him honest in P4, only a half second behind. P1, yeah, P1 is off. P2 is off. The fight for P3 is alive.
That last podium spot, that gets you
Oh,
recognition.
Dylan Ambrose and Brian Anderson has an off-track collects. Eduardo Rodriguez in the picture-in-picture.
Big yikes.
Let's go back 15 seconds.
Eduardo's just a passenger. Oh, he goes to the hyper-aggressive move down the inside.
Oh, you just hate to see it.
That's where sometimes you have the pace. You just need to have the patience to get the move done, and hyper-aggression sometimes lends itself to a pass, but sometimes it lends itself to a collision, and those incidents lose you a lot of time than just a lot more time than just hanging out behind the driver for maybe an extra lap or two. This is where the drivers in D2 and D3 are learning the racecraft that would otherwise promote them to a higher division. And as we grow larger, the divisions are become even more competitive. And you're going to find that these different subtle elements of driving separate the great drivers from the good drivers. Not to say that Dylan Ambrose is a bad driver. He's a very good driver. You're just you're going to find just the execution is just that extra element tighter.
Raw pace is often natural, but discipline and consistency is something that can be built upon. So that's like to have fun here, but we also like to improve in that sense.
Without a doubt. I think that we need to have a special guest, Michael Jeffries, in the booth with us one of these weeks, because he's just full of energy in the chat today, flaming me for my moment last week. And now he's saying with Colin Shea's incident that there's no shame in that. Yes.
Wow. Are you a father, Michael? Because that was a great dad joke.
He is, and it just makes me grab the bridge of my nose and just sigh deeply. Carlos Guzman has fallen off quite a bit, so the next closest battle is Holmes and Allen in front. I'll keep calling him Allen because I don't want to butcher his last name. I don't know if it's Hacky or H-E. Don't want to butcher it. That being said, he is now in P6, but Holmes is keeping him on his 2/10 behind. Through a very tough portion of the track to follow behind. The dirty area is really rough through here.
Oh, I like his line.
Oh, he set up a great line. There. Oh, Allen's going to be under duress.
Oh, no, a little bit of a contact between Lucas Kurinki and D. Watts.
Pick the inside.
I probably butchered his name.
Take the inside. Take the inside. Oh, he chooses the outside at Stowe. He's going the hard way around.
He is putting the pressure on immensely, though.
Is he going to have a look here?
There's no shot.
No, thinks better of it. Good call.
In the picture-in-picture, I'm just catching Mike Scott losing the car. I think Maggots and Beckett's, was it? Yeah, had a bit of damage there. You hate to see it. But the pit is now open, so you can elect to go back and fix that damage right away.
Dahi, can you remind our viewers what the drivers are required to do in their pit stop?
So during the 10-minute pit stop window, you have to fuel at least 1 liter, and then you can elect to take tires or not.
What's the over-under on drivers with taking tires today? How many do you think?
I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple take tires, especially those who might be further down the grid.
Set the over-under at 5. I'll take the over.
Michael Jeffries saying 12. That's a pretty stout figure. I think Duran's closer.
Cotton.
Let's see if it pays out. I think Duran's closer with 5. I was going to guess 4. I think it'll be an even number of teams will do the same strategy.
I see. Yeah, I see P2 and P3 diving straight into the pits.
You don't see that very often. Maybe they have some PSI issues or something like that, and they need to cool them down. Maybe they're overheating a little bit. Typically, the strategy is to stay out, especially if you're out in the lead like that, like Damiani, to stay out as long as you can for the pit window and then pit as late as possible. But a lot of drivers, a lot of very fast drivers, electing to pit very early.
Yeah, of course, the risk there is that you might get spit back into traffic, and that's going to cause you more harm than good.
You're not wrong.
Is Holmes going to get the position here? God, he has a great line out of Maggots and Beckett's every time. Is he going to hang on to it through the Vale chicane? We'll see. He does. Good stuff.
Sensational driving there. Great patience. Oh, Dahi, you talked about it earlier. Kish is super fast. Not exposed to ACC that much. And look, he collects himself a drive-through penalty through a pit lane penalty.
Oh, you hate to see it. For those who are not aware, there is a very strict pit speed limit of 50 kph. And if you exceed it, the game is going to punish you for it.
That's brutal stuff. Let's hope he's the only one who has to suffer that tonight.
That is race ending. You have to drive all the way back to the pits, and this is a long pit at Silverstone. It's not one of the shorter ones at the other British tracks. This one takes quite the Sunday drive to get through. We're on board here with Super Dave, not normal Dave, Super Dave. Finds himself in P19, being hawked down by Spaghetti in P20. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. As we see another gaggle of cars enter the pits, that's going to be very, very interesting. 4 or 5 cars pitted simultaneously. That is going to be very, very close, including your race leader. Look at all these drivers that have committed to the pits simultaneously. They're going to come out together, too. Mono back out on track. Finds himself...
Bit of a dicey spot.
Yep, finds himself in P8 as he exits.
So actually, looks like Damiani managed to get ahead of Molyneux in the pits.
You're right.
I see him in P6.
Yeah, by a 3 or 4 second margin. That's fantastic for him. Jaworski and Astolfo fighting over P3. Neither have pitted yet, but they are going at it.
Of course, one potential strat that you could do is actually don't fuel for the entire race at the start. A lighter car would mean less tire degradation, and you could be potentially a little bit faster to gap the rest of the field. But you would have to take a couple more seconds in the pits. It's a pretty uncommon strategy, but it's possible.
Back to Mono. Mono is hawking down Queso. The pace difference is there. Queso has yet to pit. This is what we were talking about earlier, guys, where the drivers that have pitted, especially the faster drivers at the top of the grid, pit early, they get stuck in traffic. And this is where you're going to find a lot of time loss from a strategy standpoint. And you can get dangerously close if you're not patient of getting in an incident because the pace difference is there.
Yeah, you always have to be careful when you're overtaking. The responsibility is on the overtaking driver. Just to come back a little bit to the pace, of course, Molyneux has the purple lap at 1:59.382, very fast. And second after that is actually Josh Damiani at 1:59.450. So it's going to be between those two to finish out the race for the race win, I think.
Very fast lap times in these conditions. Mono has been released as Queso has pitted. Now has the burden of hawking down Damiani in P4, who is technically the net P1 at the moment, 4 seconds up the road. more battles on track. After pits, we have Colin Shea still right behind Gardner. These guys have been attached at the hip all race.
Kish side by side with substitution into Maggots and Beckett's very dangerous and gets rear-ended by William Sadat.
Got absolutely plowed.
I'm going to go back to that and see. But going side by side into Maggots and Beckett is oftentimes a very, very risky decision.
They were doing things really, really well, and then Sadat just didn't change his pace whatsoever for the conditions and just hammered it home.
You hate to see it.
Otherwise, great side-by-side racing through what is a very hard sequence of corners.
You saw that they had to check up quite a bit to account for the double car line. And I guess Sadat just wasn't expecting that much of a slowdown into Maggots and Beckett.
You can say that again. On board with Jal Wed in the Joint Forces Audi here. He's got Boardman in the Audi behind.
Kind of looks like they're flashing each other.
In the picture-in-picture, Kish lost the rear a little bit, but saved the car. Just drops back a little bit in time compared to substitution.
He's only in P15 after that drive-through. That's pretty impressive.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
He's found himself down to P17 now, but now he has a yellow flag. What's going on there, Dahi?
Oh, I must have missed it. Oh, he's in the barriers. Let's see what happened.
As we see Jalwed and Eric Boardman follow each other into the pits. Great responsibilities from them, making sure they don't punch each other through there. Again, another
he lost
gaggle.
the car going through the curves a little bit there.
Yikes.
I don't know if he had a little damage from the previous encounter. Very possible.
We just caught Alan battle on Eduardo Rodriguez. Gets by in one of the final corners, and then he takes turn 1 ahead. Nice move. He's going to find himself after the pits climbing up the rankings here.
In the back half of the grid, very tight battle going on between Rowley and Rohrer and Grover.
A driver we spent a lot of time with in the previous weeks was Normando and his beloved pewter blue Mercedes. He is now overlooking the long hood right behind Sadat, who was the aggressor in that absolute punterino we witnessed a few minutes ago. He's probably suffering pretty bad with front aero damage after that punt. He's going to be really slow through this section. The McLaren is very, very aero dependent. He's going to be suffering right now. And we need to go wider for this. This is about to get hairy.
The pit window has just 10 seconds left. I think everybody has pitted. So the pecking order is now back in order.
If they haven't pitted yet, they just got a 130-second penalty. We saw, like we predicted, Normando was putting the pressure on Sadat. Sadat's lack of aero sent him flying off course, but that did force Normando to check up, and now he's under pressure from Alan Hackey again, or Hachey. Butchering it. I'm going to go with Hackey.
Maybe Hatchie.
He's taking a hack at Normando's rear quarter panel and spins him around. That's for damn sure.
Oh, good on Normando for holding the brakes there. He would have murdered Sadat.
Without a doubt.
Rodriguez behind him. Or Queso. I really don't know who that was. I think it was Queso, actually.
We're getting a lot of love for Brian Anderson. He's just plugging away right now in the Grand Tour Lambo. Putting in some good lap times.
In the picture-in-picture, Jose makes a pass onto Mr. Robichaud. Nice and clean to the inside.
I need to check back on Hackey here. Some yellow flags. Yeah, he just has an off. So there's some karma for taking out Normando there. Just drives way off track. That is not the line, ladies and gentlemen.
But worth the track cut.
If you're going to have a track cut, take advantage of a track cut.
You may as well cut 4 corners.
We didn't catch too much action, but Dylan has been busy climbing back up the ladder. He just passed his teammate, Eric Boardman. And looks like Mr. Rower finally made the pass on to Rowley as well, which the battle was going on for several laps.
Speaking of battles, Sadat still suffering with that very bad damage. Falls prey to Rodriguez here in the Sprunk Audi. Bright green. That is the artistic work of Thomas Greer. Very nice. And he's going to be gobbling up Sadat any minute now.
There's still a lot of battles going on. I just want to point out some of the biggest winners since qualifying. In P6, Clark Gold has gained 11 positions. In P11, Dominic Jaworski gained 15 positions. And in P13, Sadat actually gained 16 positions. So even though he's been scrapping, he's a big winner so far. And in P16, Fire Queso won 15 places. Those are the notable winners in the top half of the grid.
Switching over to Spaghetti, excuse me. In P28, putting an immense amount of pressure on Tyrell Foster in P27. He's showing what he's looking at in the rearview mirror. This is what he's looking like in the front. We are 2/3 done with this race, ladies and gentlemen. I want predictions in the chat of who's taking this race win. Right now, Damiani is ahead by 3 seconds, almost 4 seconds, but Molyneux is taking time out of that lap after lap. 4/10 as of the last lap. Guzman is 7 seconds behind Molyneux, so it's a battle of whether or not Molyneux can take the time out of Damiani over the next 20 minutes. And then I want to hear your driver of the day so far. We have a lot of action on track. I know it's a big ask, but let me hear it.
I want to see the Kish fan club stay true to their man, despite the pain of tonight, running in P32 at the moment.
Dylan Ambrose has been continually climbing. He's now in P17. He was in P19 just a couple minutes ago.
Got past Normando, another really great driver. Got past Schaefer, talented driver. But yeah, he was definitely out of position as far as I'm concerned in terms of qualifying. He had some work to do. Gold, yellow flag. Dehi, check it out. What happened to Clark Gold?
Oh, where is he?
He's in P7. Go ahead and go 30 seconds back. Let's take a peek. Maggots and Beckett's.
Oh, that's a lot of grass.
Yep. As we have 2 wide on the main screen here. This is getting spicy. Spaghetti making the move on Foster. Gets it done. Now Foster's under attack from Jalwed behind. Spaghetti gets the job done. That was really great driving from the group of them. Really respectful, but Spaghetti able to get the inside and take the position.
Foster running a little wide there. Now he's seriously under pressure from Jalwed. Spaghetti just running away. Oh no, coming back at got Foster coming back a little bit.
You hear the tires begging for mercy through their Durant.
And this is where you just see the Audi take off on the Aston. Although the Aston does have decent top speed. But down that straight, man, I tell you.
Someone we haven't given a lot of love to is Alex Daniel and McLaren having a quiet race, just going about his business, hanging out in P23, absolutely killing it. But he is now under duress from Roar behind. This is what he's looking at. A clean race from Alex Daniel.
I see a little damage on Daniel's diffuser. Maybe switch to Roar's bumper view.
Oh, you want to see that ass? Here it is.
Well, maybe not.
Oh boy. Drive-through penalty for Tyrell Foster.
That's track cuts for sure.
Without a doubt. We're getting pretty familiar with Alex Daniels' booty here, and I'm not seeing any damage, but he's definitely hugging the apex tight, keeping Roar behind. That was some great defensive driving. Let's see who's going to be braver on the brakes through turn one, because Roar's going to get a mega run right here.
Oh, he should have stayed in the toe. That's okay. He's still got a... Oh, they're both pretty conservative, but Daniel gets a little squirrely.
So does Roar, as he has to pump the brakes just to keep out. But good save from both drivers. Great car control.
Little monkey see, monkey do action there.
Probably had to get on the brakes a little bit because he saw Daniel have a little moment and he didn't want to go into the back of him. He's catching right back up, though. The Bentley driver on the right side of the car, which, aka the wrong side of the car.
Not in Silverstone, it's not. They're normal. They're normally driving on that side. We're all just visitors in their land.
They'd like to sure think so, wouldn't they?
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
America.
America.
Next season we'll have to do next year we'll have to do an American track during the 4th of July week. It's just expected. By then we'll have 10 divisions. And I'll have my hands full. Luckily I'm surrounded by so many friendly people that give me so much support. Like the two people in the booth with me today. That's something I'm super proud of the community here at SRA. We've been growing so quickly, but the community and the close-knit nature of everything has still stayed intact. I'm really proud of that.
Yeah, you see a lot of the camaraderie and like I don't know, everybody staying close. That kind of dies off when the league grows, or when servers grow, or communities grow, or whatever. You lose that. What's the word? It's not personability, is it? It's well, regardless, I think you know what I mean.
That's a fair way of putting it, I think. Oh boy, Roar and Daniel. Roar backs out wisely to get through Maggots and Beckett's clean. It's hard to follow through here, like we hinted at earlier. Many a driver get collected just by taking a little bit of extra grass. Alex has a little bit of a bad run, and now Roar's going to have a really good inside look at the next turn.
Activate the DRS. Take the inside line at Stowe. Is he going to nail it? Daniel gives him a lot of room.
Wow, these guys are going for it. Really respectful.
Daniel pulls ahead.
And he closes the door. What a move!
Wow. Keeps it ahead on the outside at Stowe. That's incredible.
Incredible move from these guys to drive side by side through a part of the track that is very difficult to maintain speed and traction at. There's really only one line through there.
Yeah, anything else, you just get chronic understeer. You got some spicy stuff going on in both the picture-in-picture and the main picture.
Alex has a little bit of a deep dive here. Roar hot on the heels. Alex does have the inside for the following turn. Roar sniffing real close. Real close. As they approach another straight here, Roar is going to have another moment in the draft here. Is he going to be able to have another look up the inside?
Oh, is he going to dive?
He
is
has
he going
to
to dive?
He has to.
Late breaker. Keeps it in.
Fix
Nails it. Clean move. We have some off-track overtaken on the picture-in-picture. Oh, but he gives it back.
Yep. think Dylan made 2 passes in this one lap from 17th up to 15th. He's been hawking the cars down.
Is that Sadat in front of him?
Yes, it is.
Now that Roar is ahead of Daniel, he's able to build a quick 7/10 gap.
Look at that Audi acceleration in the picture-in-picture. A little bit of a bump.
He's got the not ideal line. He's going wide. Does not leave room, closes the door, and gets spun because of it.
Yeah, gotta leave the space all the time.
At least his car stays straight, so it wasn't a full spin. Oh, and he gets spun for good measure. Oh, track bad re-entry.
Oh, keeps the car on track. It's a lot of drama in the picture-in-picture.
Everyone pointing in the same direction at the end of it. That's good stuff.
Dylan's teammate Eric Borbin having his own battle, 3/10 behind Normando and only 5/10 ahead of Schaefer. The Team Atreides drivers are showing why they're in the top of the team rankings here, putting drivers to the test all over the track. As you see that, the over-under from Normando as Boardman takes a dive. He does have the inside line for the next track. Next corner, Schaefer's trying to take a look. Normando still has a little bit of overlap and then has to concede. As he goes off, the Mercedes
very late braking from Dylan. He actually had to abort the overtake. Joins back at the Luffle. Still manages to keep ahead of Rodriguez there.
Oh, and Rodriguez into the pits. The pit wall. No.
Oh, you hate to see it.
Just grabbed a little bit of grass on the exit there and spun him right around. Like a record, baby.
Right round.
There's been a quiet battle brewing for the last 10 minutes between Josh and Molyneux. And the delta is staying around 2 seconds so far. It might come down to the last couple of laps to resolve that.
Boardman has gotten past Normando, and he is now building a gap. And now Normando has to hold the pressure off of Schaefer behind. Boardman says, "Get me the hell out of here." Another very close battle is the threesome of Grover, Rally, and Spaghetti. P25 for Grover has fought back from his P38, if I recall, start from the pit, from the qualifying. So he's made his way up the field quite comfortably. Good for him. But he's still got some pressure from Rally and Spaghetti behind.
Yeah, Grover has made up 13 positions from P38. Rally has made up 11 positions from 37. Tony is the one losing out a little bit here, losing 9 positions from qualifying.
We have someone in the... Go ahead, Trent.
I was going to ask if we could get a reminder on the lowest position that still receives points.
The lowest position that
is P40.
Yep.
Well, that's a long sliding scale.
Yeah, it goes from 110 for P1 all the way down to 1 measly point for P40. So if you finish the race, you get a point.
That's why you see such strong fights all over.
No kidding.
Everybody's fighting in the points.
Yeah, more drivers losing it over the Maggots and Beckett's. One thing that Dominic did not mention is that as it gets darker, the apex is harder and harder to see as you go through the Maggots and Beckett's. It's sketchier. Your tires start to go. Keeping it together is a battle by itself.
And at this stage of the game, the focus is starting to drop off, and you might start making mistakes for it. We can see guys going off a little bit.
Someone in the chat asking for Hartman's update, and Hartman picks up a drive-through penalty. Track cuts the bane of his race. He was doing so well in P6. Now he has to serve a very late race penalty, and with the grid being so tight, he's going to lose a considerable amount of positions, unfortunately.
I bet right now he's thinking, yo, can I get a restart as he goes to serve his penalty?
Just don't speed on the way in, my friend. That is double trouble if you do. Rally and Spaghetti trading positions here. I want to see how the move got done. I'm going back 3 wide between the boys here.
I think the move is already done by this point.
It is. You're very right, my friend. But again, these guys have been going at it for a while. Spaghetti's still right behind Rally, and both drivers right behind Grover.
Keeping an eye on Paul Hartman exiting the pits after serving his drive-through. He started from P6, I believe, so he lost no less than 5 positions there.
Rohrer, after getting past Alex Daniel, got past Eduardo Rodriguez, and now he's attacking Super Dave. Can you check on him, Dahi? He's in P22 attacking Super Dave. They're right next to each other.
And he accelerates past Super Dave. Should be able to tuck ahead into the next corner. Yeah, he sticks his pass. Very nice.
Likewise, we're in the same exact situation. Spaghetti on the inside of Rally up turn 1. Able to get the job done with ease. Once you have the inside line for that, the outside is just not manageable. So you pretty much had the position barring you break in time. Nice move. Further up the grid, we have Schaefer attacking Normando also. Go ahead, Dahi.
Oh, I was just checking back on the race leaders. Josh Damiani and Taylor Molino still trying to close the gap, but only 6 more minutes to go. That's just 4 laps, I believe. Let's see who can bring it over the finish line first.
Got on check on Jalwed and Jay Rally. They were side by side for quite a bit of time. Able to check back into the battle here. Jay Rally stays ahead. I'm going to hang out here for a little while.
I'll go back and see how Substitution lost a place here. Oh.
Rally's getting squirmy.
Goes up the inside. Easy. Oh, super respectful there. A little squirrely on the exit. Wed not able to put the power down.
I don't know if that was calculated by Rally, but that was that worked out pretty well. But Wed's got a good run. They're gonna go side by side. Late breaker Rally goes a little deep, leaves space, takes the inside on the final turn. Not the final turn, second to final turn. Stays ahead.
Don't discount Wed, though. He's in the toe, and he had a better exit than Rally, so he's going to make it to turn 1 before Rally, without a doubt.
Rally picks the outside line, it looks like.
Just got the tail end of Rower's pass on Scott into turn 1.
Nice. Rower making turn 1 look easy. He's made several passes there. Molino has gotten the gap down from 3 seconds, like previously discussed, to 1.4 seconds to Damiani in P1. Damiani's got some work to do. Only 4 minutes left in the race. That's still enough time for a couple laps. That's very feasible to get that gap down to what could be a photo finish for the guys.
Damiani's going to have to put on a defensive clinic.
No kidding.
Only Hartman, just 0.1 seconds behind Dominic Jaworski. He lost out a couple of positions to drive through. He's looking to make those positions back.
Having a drive-through penalty and only being in P11 despite that is an incredible performance. So he needs to keep putting the pedal to the metal, get those points back.
White is just getting so close to rally, but he's conservative on the brakes. He's playing it safe. Oh, maybe not there. Okay, he still is. Doesn't want to dive and risk crashing them both out this late in the game.
Rally does get in the grass a little bit, which slows his momentum down.
Rally covers the inside.
Goes really deep. Oh boy. Dirty tires will do that to you. You don't really calculate how much of a braking difference those dirty tires make. As Jowett has a moment, too excited to get past Rally, and now Geegan's
We're
off.
playing Dirt Rally 2, Silverstone edition.
Get the car turned back on. Go, go, go. You're losing so many positions.
Oh, he's got the McLaren syndrome.
I don't want to talk about it. That's enough out of you.
The picture-in-picture caught a little bit of a very close battle between Hartman and Hachi.
Is he out of fuel?
That may very well be what's happened.
What's going on here? He's in the car. He's moving the wheel.
He is alive.
Okay, he's back. Maybe he was just in complete disbelief as to what happened. He's like, I tried so hard, got the pass done, and then I threw it all in the bin. Well, speaking of the bin, he binned pretty much, I don't know, 20 positions? That sucks. You hate to see it. But we're coming into the final laps now. Molyneux down to a 1 second gap. I'm going to be on board with this. This is about to get spicy. This is what Molyneux's looking at. Josh Damiani is in sight. He's foaming at the mouth, ready to chase him down.
Got a lap and a half to go.
You can see that the track is completely dark now. These guys are fighting underinflated towers, brake markers that are disappearing from sight, and fatigue from the hour-long race. Looks like this will be the final lap, it seems.
They're going to get across the line, and then they'll have one more lap. You're exactly right.
Gap's open to 1.3 seconds.
Molyneux proves that Sector 3 is weaker to Damiani, but Sectors 1 and 2 are much faster. They're doing...
Oh no, big off track. Sorry, from P6 and C Holmes. I'm catching the replay here. Oh, loses the rear.
That stinks. There's 7th, 8th, and 9th battling like crazy. Get on board for those gentlemen while I stay on board with Molyneux trying to chase Damiani for what is the final lap of our race. Damiani is put on the afterburners.
He should go for fastest lap. That would be the alpha move.
A Mick Schumacher.
Push like hell, exactly.
And then nearly crash.
Mode push.
Push, push. Damiani is...
Pole and Hachi trading positions back and forth.
Picture in picture is so dark. It is night time, ladies and gentlemen. As you have the final sector of racing, Damiani is still holding on to a 1.5 second gap. He is unfazed. He's like, this is the final lap, pedal to the metal. This is where he's going to really put a stamp on his performance today.
There's also a battle going on for P3, the final podium position between Carlos Guzman and Gardner. Not sure what happened, but that gap has closed quite a bit.
Damiani pulling away from Molyneux.
He maybe has a stream on in the background, and we were talking about how Molyneux is closing the gap, and he said, I don't think so. He is coming up on some lap traffic, though, but it's not going to be enough. Your race winner today, barring a last corner fiasco, which won't happen, is Josh Damiani. He's going to cross the line here with the checkered flag. He is your race winner with a very respectable P2 of Molyneux behind. And we're going to cover a side-by-side through the final couple corners here for Guzman and Gardner.
Guzman takes it.
Yeah, keeps ahead in the left field.
Oh, good move. Good move. Well-deserved podium from Carlos Guzman.
Yeah, very nice battle for the end there.
Like the Pepe Frogs on the wing, we are hyped for P3 for Carlos Guzman and a very respectful P4 for Mr. Gardner. Very nice performance from him in the slippin' Audi. Colin Shea is rounding the final corner here. P5, Holmes, P6, and then a trifecta of Goldestolfo and Anderson all within a second of each other for 7th, 8th, and 9th. In another incredible battle here across the final corner. Allen and Hartman finished within a couple tenths of each other with Jaworski out front. Really great performance from them. Dylan Ambrose up to P13. An incredible fight through the grid despite a poor qualifying outing. And the Subchition in P14. Great performance for the only Honda to surface to our beloved D2. Eric Boardman, after a couple incidents, recovered to a nice P15. Queso crosses in 17th. Sadat, 17th. Someone must have left. We're mixing up the order now. Schaefer, Rohr, and Scott and Normando finish all within a few seconds of each other as Normando gives a final shot. Oh my goodness.
Carnage.
Oh, my safety rating. Hey. Alex Daniel, an incredible performance behind Super Dave and Eduardo Rodriguez. And then Spaghetti Captamanis finishing right behind him. Grover is off the track. Is he out of fuel? Oh, no. Aiden, we've been over this. He says in the chat, no gas. You know what that means, Aiden? That anyone that finishes this lap gets to finish ahead of you. We've been over this, ladies and gentlemen. Put gas in your car. He teleports back to the pits. The official results will come in, and they'll probably plop him back several positions on anyone who finished more than his 29 laps, which would be 6 drivers, unfortunately. Kish, P24, a really great performance from him. Overall, a really, really great race. We had quite a few people leaving the race, so people are getting benefit of the doubt there, scooping up some additional points. Dom and Dehi, can you try and scoop up our podium drivers and get them up here?
I am already on it. So the overall podium drivers, Josh Damiani, Taylor Molyneux, and Carlos Guzman will have them up here. And actually, Taylor Molyneux is a silver split division winner. There's also Austin Gardner, who is P3 in the gold split, and P2 and P3 for the silver split. C. Holmes and Fire Case, so we can bring them up after the first 3. So let's bring up Josh Damiani right now, our race winner.
This guy not past me. Oh.
There he is. Josh Damiani takes a formidable win with the pass in the pit lane. So clearly getting the job done, practicing pit lane entry and exit. Congrats on a P1, my friend.
Thank you very much. This was a tough one. It was a constant threat from Molyneux the entire race. I don't know how I managed to jump him in the pit stop, and all that was going through my head the rest of the race was, is he gonna catch me?
Believe you me, we were
pretty quick.
We were counting down each lap. We were saying, "Oh, the gap's getting smaller. Oh, the gap's getting smaller," and then you had to really just put it to us in the booth when we were saying the gap is now sub 1 second in the last couple laps. We said he's going to reel him in, and then you just blasted away. So kudos on the strong finish, my friend.
I appreciate it. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, another great showing from Damiani, proving that season 2 was a season from hell, and season 3 is looking pretty rosy.
So far, so good. 4 races to go.
Amen, brother. Cool. Well, we'll see you next week. Good luck.
Thanks, boys. Have a good night.
I'll bring up Taylor Molyneux.
Taylor,
Yes.
P2, sir. That
Yes.
was a close call at the end. You almost had Damiani out of the pits.
I'm so mad at myself. Yeah, it just came down to pit strategy, I guess. He wanted to fuel the entire race. I only wanted to fuel half and then go for another half. He got the jump on me.
So
Oh,
that's what it was.
interesting.
Yeah, that we were wondering. Maybe you just were stopped a little extra. Maybe you missed your pit box, but the extra fuel brought into the equation. Interesting.
Mhm.
Well, despite that, you a stellar performance, and I appreciate you giving it an alternative strategy a good look. Gives our audience and different opportunities to look at what other pit strategies really invoke in a race. But yeah, great job and very steady performance overall.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Cool. Well, good luck for next week, and keep putting on a show-stopping performance, my friend.
You won't miss me.
We never do. We never do. Now get out of here and pop some champagne.
Okay, going.
And I'll
And
bring
that's-
up our P3 finisher, Colors Guzman.
1 is a 3.
Mr. Guzman, I'm going to need you to channel
Hey.
all of your immense excitement for a solid podium finish. Congratulations.
Thank you, but I think I'm too tired to fucking get excited.
You're not like just guzzling champagne right now, biting on your bronze
Oh
medal.
my god. I should be. Those last few laps were stressful. I didn't have enough fuel to finish. I had to fuel save.
That's what was happening. We saw the gap closing to P4 pretty quickly, and we were wondering what was going on.
I finished with like a little more than half a liter.
Oh, so you calculated it perfectly, in other words.
Well, I was guesstimating. Well, no, I mean after fuel saving. I went to map 6 for half a lap.
Oh, goodness gracious. Well, yeah, you need to get the abacus out next time and put an extra couple liters in there for good measure.
Yeah, I usually do. I thought I did a safe number this time. I didn't. It hurt me a little, but that last lap was intense. I thought he was gonna get me in the back straight, but I just barely held him off at the braking zone. And I think I put my car in the right place for the last couple turns. I gave him the inside knowing I'd get the inside for the last turn, and I was just hoping I'd hold the car enough to keep it in front, and I did. But that was a intense finish.
No, man, great work from you. We were watching you fight up the grid quite a bit. That was fun to watch. But yeah, good luck, and we'll see you again next week, brother.
Yeah, thank you. I hope to be here again soon.
That's the dream, right?
Yeah.
Likewise.
All right. Thank you guys. Take care.
Thanks for the great show.
Take it easy.
Dave, I see Austin Gardner in the cool down room. You want to bring him up?
Yep. So he is the P3 finisher for the goat split. So I'll bring him up right now.
Good deal. Mr. Gardner, congratulations on a great performance. You earned yourself the third step of the gold split of Division 2 for this race. Congratulations.
Thank you. Welcome.
You had quite the battle going on throughout the race. We watched your car kind of going around, getting bumpered every once in a while, but you put together a great performance despite all the different contacts. Tell us from your perspective how it went.
It was a battle and a half for sure. Yeah, I had two bumps, and somehow I held it in the end to get P4. We'll see if we get a P3 with the ticket, but yeah.
Tickets always make things interesting, right? But
Yeah.
hold us accountable, right?
Oh, for sure. Well, that's the thing. You guys do a really good job at the end for stewarding, so I really appreciate the stewards. I know they don't get as much recognition as they should, so yeah.
It is a thankless job. Anyone that
It's a
wants to be a
great job.
steward, please let us know because we need more of you.
For sure.
Awesome. Well, thanks again. Congratulations, and go celebrate.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much for hosting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I
Daehi.
think
Go
one
ahead.
last interviewee tonight, I think, would be C. Holmes, who keeps escaping. He's P2 finisher for the silver split.
Okay. Well, I'm more than happy to get him in here if he wants to join. While you're doing so, I want to interview. Oh, there he is. Oh, he just keeps scooting out. Mr.
Mr.
Holmes, you there,
Oh.
buddy?
I was trying to figure out where I needed to go, but I'm here.
You're here now, brother. Daehi, tell us, give us the MO of Mr. Holmes' race here.
You finished P2 in the silver split. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. Didn't realize I was that high.
Yep.
He was
Apart
just-
from Mr. Molyneux, I think most of the Ghost split finished ahead of you, but the number checks out. You're number 2.
Yeah, appreciate that. Yeah, I was just following. I was like, let's get this going, and here we go, B2. So that's news to me. Well, thank you.
Yeah, how's the race from your perspective?
It was good. Sketchy closer to the end because of the tires. It was giving out, but I mean, all was well. Ended up getting some tips from the driver swap teammate guy, and so chilled with him for a little bit, and then he helped me out. So I think I gained maybe a quarter second or so. But all was well. It was sketchy around the last lap because I ended up going off and had to kind of fight to hold the position. But I think everything else went pretty nice.
Am I hearing this correctly? You participating in other parts of SRA helped you improve as a driver?
Crazy, right?
Wow.
I mean, it must be scripted.
Wow, hear that,
100%
community.
scripted.
The more you
Yeah.
get engaged, the better you perform.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
Crazy. Well, we have another driver swap event tomorrow, Thursday, at Watkins Glen. So if you want to get signed up, it's very short notice, but we'll happily get you suited in. But Mr. Holmes, congratulations on a great performance at Silverstone, and looking forward to many great performances in the future for you.
Of course. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
I'll send you back to General
Awesome.
so I can enjoy your celebration.
All right. I want to do one last interview, and I think Duran knows who I want to interview. He's a very active person in the community, and he made a very clumsy error. Do you know who I want to talk to, Duran?
I'm looking at the list right now, and
I
I'm
want to
gonna
talk
be
to
honest.
I want to talk to Aiden Grover.
Aiden Grover. Okay, I can get behind that. You see him in Discord? I'm looking for him, but I am not seeing. His
He
name
might have
anywhere.
called it for a night already because he was in the chat saying how he was so upset.
Yeah, I don't see him in the Discord, so
Well, when
maybe
he
you missed out
watches,
on that chance.
yeah, well, when he watches this back next week, I want you, Aiden, to go to your calculator for the fuel, and I want you to add just one extra lap, just one extra lap, whether that's 3, 4 liters, whatever, because you had a stellar performance on the table, and someone who is active in the community as active in the community as you are, you of all people should know how to do the quick maths. But that being said, from the Triple D squad, Daehi Yoon, Dominic Duran, and myself, Douglas Mitchell, we really appreciate you guys tuning in to yet another sensational performance from our Division 2 split here. And we're looking forward to next week, which is Laguna Seca, which should be pretty exciting. The Corkscrew will capitalize and murder quite a few people, I imagine. So, myself included.
Oh, before we end the stream, our third place finisher from the silver split just joined. So I'll bring you out here for the one last quick interview.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, here's Fire Queso.
Fire Queso, liquid hot cheese. How you doing, buddy?
You finished P3 in the silver split. Congratulations.
Yeah, the data stacks up. I'm going to turn up your volume quite a bit so that we can hear you. There you are.
Sure. Yeah, sorry, my mic's a little janky, but yeah, that was a fun first race for me.
Welcome to SRA, huh?
Yeah. Everyone was driving pretty clean. It was a good race. Was at the edge of my seat. I'm feeling a little sore after that, but that was the longest race I've done yet. So, cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's no surprise. I tell my wife that sim racing is a good workout, right? So you're just perpetuating that, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Let's keep it. Let's keep the lie going, so that way I can continue to do sim racing instead of going to the gym. You know, that's the dream.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Well, Mr. Queso, I really appreciate your participation and love to see more engagement from you as new members join the league. Looking forward to seeing more from you, my friend.
Thank you, thank you.
Have a good one, all right?
You too.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you so much for your participation this week. If you are new to the league or just watching this for the first time, you can check out our socials. We have our own website, simracingalliance.com. That's where you can see all the different ongoing championships, lap time leaderboards, and donation links if you're interested in any partnerships there. And everything in terms of community engagement gets done through our Discord. So that's discord.gg/simracingalliance, also linked through our website. We'd love to see more people join, and we will always make room for you. That being said, from the 3 cohorts in the booth here, thanks again for another successful race week, and we will see you again next week.